Hello, pre-algebra. Welcome to lesson 6.2, beginning on page 141 and going through page 143. Today we're going to be talking about average rate. So to begin with, let's look at the vocabulary for this lesson. Obviously, rate is the important word here. Rate involves two quantities, and it's usually expressed as one quantity per unit of another quantity. For example, it could be miles per gallon, dollars per hour, kilometers per hour, and a host of other different scenarios. So with that in mind, let's go straight to try it 8 on page 142. That asks us to find the rate in each of the following cases. So letter A, Joe ran 100 meters in 12.5 seconds. Give your answer in meters per second. Well, basically you will take the 100 meters and divide it by the time it took him. So 100 divided by 12.5. You divide, you write it like a fraction and you divide. When you do that, and of course you can do that on your calculator, you come up with 8 meters per second. It's just that simple. Letter B asks us to find the rate in this case. 128 fluid ounces of apple juice cost $6.40. Give your answer in dollars per fluid ounce. Well, you would take the total amount of money for the juice, $6.40, over, divide the total amount, which is 128 fluid ounces. So it costs that much money for all of that. You divide. You, again, do it on your calculator. And you come up with 0.05, which is 5 cents per fluid ounce. Keep it in this form, the 0.00 form, because you use dollars and cents here. You would use dollars and cents in your answer also. Just as heads up, sometimes when you're dividing that, you might have spaces beyond the cents mark. So instead of 2 places after the decimal point, it might go further. In that case, in the case of money, you would just round it to the nearest cent, if that should ever happen. Continuing on, page 143, example 9. Here, the directions are the price of a 50 square meter apartment is $69,900. Find the price rate of the apartment in dollars per square meter or meters squared. Again, you take the total amount, divide it by the total space. The only difference is the label, so dollars per meter squared. Notice whatever happens in the answer, dollars per meter squared. Usually the dollar part or the first thing listed is the numerator, and the per meter squared or per hour or whatever is the denominator part. Again, we go ahead and divide and find out that that apartment is $1,398 per square meter or per meter squared. Now, in try it 10, we have a 2-part situation for one set of criteria. So try it 10 says, a worker is paid $152 for 8 hours of work. First, letter A, find the hourly wage rate. So we go ahead and do that. Again, like we've been doing, $152 divided by 8 hours gives us $19 per hour. Now, just a heads up, sometimes they're not going to take you step by step. Sometimes this is a step you will have to do in order to actually complete the task that they give you. I'll talk about that in a moment. So letter B then continues with this same setup. If the worker works for 5 hours, find his wage. Well, we have found his rate, so his wage would be the hourly rate times the number of hours he worked. In this case, 5 hours. So the rate we found in letter A, $19 times 5 hours, instead of the 8 hours that he worked up there. So 19 times 5 gives us $95. Now what I was talking about just a short minute ago is sometimes you will be given the problem and it will sound like this. A worker is paid $152 for 8 hours of work. How much would he make for 5 hours? Well, see, they skipped this part. You got to remember to find out the rate to actually find out the 5 hour part. So sometimes they're going to leave this out and you're just going to have to be acutely aware. Ooh, yep, I have to do that first to get to there. So here they laid it out very nicely for you, 2 steps at a whack, but sometimes they're going to leave out this basic step. Remember, when you're working with a rate, you always want to put it in the lowest rate, which is something per unit, 1 unit of whatever they're talking about. Okay, like always, please pause, rewind, re-listen. It's a short lesson today. As often as you need to, and if you have questions about anything before you get started, please do, and I will give you your assignment in class. Thank you so much, and do good math.